Louisiana versus all y'all. Jarrett Roser celebrating a little bit of West Bank thing on this Friday morning, or the video might be up this afternoon. A couple of Archbishop Shaw teammates in Jasper Parker and Jacob Washington, high school teammates with the Archbishop Shaw Eagles, and just recently committed to being college teammates with the Michigan Wolverines. And so we'll talk a lot about the direction of the program over there under Coach Hank Tierney, what these guys are looking forward to their senior year. And we'll kind of start a little bit more with how we ended up, two Louisiana guys committed to go play at Michigan. But I mean, first off, man, we'll start, Jacob, then Jasper. Just how's this summer been for you guys overall? There's been a lot of behind the scenes work for senior year, and there's also been a lot of exciting news with the recruitment and stuff like that. Jacob, how's everything been going, through the first chunk of the summer?
Well, this offseason has been huge for me, just in, fine-tuning up the small things, getting better just here and there, whether it's getting faster, stronger, or it's just working on route running and top of the route stuff, and just going into the offseason knowing the goal in mind and just winning that state championship game for Shaw. And that's big. So that's really what the main goal is for me.
Jasper, we were talking a little bit about it, before we started, but how has this summer been? It sounds like it's been a really, a positive last couple of months since the school year ended.
It's been phenomenal. Me and my family really just we kind of took some time and we finally made that decision, which was great. And we felt like we made a confident decision, as well as just from him a developmental aspect of this summer. I feel like last year we were just getting started, both of us on both of ends, and we had phenomenal seasons. So just coming into this summer, I feel like both of us had it in mind that if we just sharpened the things that mattered most and became leaders for our team over the summer workouts and throughout the summer practices, I don't think there's many people who could stop us going into the season.
Yeah, I was about to jump into some of the college stuff, but you just hit on something. For y'all, this junior year was essentially kind of breakout year for both of y'all at different points of it. What was the biggest difference for y'all as young players, and maybe steps forward y'all saw in your development going into junior year, versus how much of it was this was just the most we had a chance to see y'all, deepest playoff run, most playing time, and all these things? And I mean, whoever wants to jump in first, I guess stick with Jacob first, because I'm going to end up asking Jasper about the college stuff first since he committed first. Jacob, what's your perspective on that?
I'd say, just my personal football journey. I started really playing football at a high level in 8th grade. So I was sort of a late bloomer. So just knowing that, I've had 2 years under my belt, or really 1 year under my belt of like real varsity, playing time and opportunity. I'd say joining my freshman sophomore year was huge. That whole off season, I just worked and just kept my head down and just grinded it out. And that's really that's where I am now. Just, I'm continuing to work and just building on what I have and continue to be developed.
Yeah, Jasper, same sort of thing for you junior year. How much was the magnitude of the opportunity and being able to be that lead back for a team that was making a deep playoff run? I mean, how big was that for your ability to showcase what you could do, versus how much did you see yourself take a big step forward from sophomore year to junior year?
Well, me and him, we're different actually. I've been playing football since I was like 5 years old, tackling and all that. But when I came into my 8th grade year, I think I was pretty good, but it was a lot of seniors, few opportunities. But I just, like he said, I continued to work, and when you work, it's going to show at some point. But going into sophomore year, I knew it was some things I had to sharpen up. I had to sharpen up mentally. I had to eat the right things, get my body right, because I knew I'd be carrying the ball a lot. But I definitely know I had the skill aspect going into my junior year, coming to be the premier back. So it was just a matter of putting it all together and getting into the groove during the season. And the best way to do that is just to start early. So I just came into the season being really downhill the first few weeks, and then I got to all the skill things when we just knew I knew I had it under my feet. So that's kind of how I looked at it.
You guys, go ahead, Jacob. Yeah,
I want to say one more thing. I just want to say, the best is yet to come for our senior year. It's going to be a huge year for both of us. Just capitalizing off. just continuing what we started last year and the playoff run we had, just, it's going to be it's just the best is yet to come.
No doubt. I think a lot of folks, both on the West Bank and around the state are looking forward to, well, whether it be looking forward to seeing what you guys have in store for this fall, or maybe some other programs not necessarily looking forward to seeing what that next step is for y'all if they're in the way. But, before we get into senior year, in more detail, the success of junior year on the field starts to happen. The success on the recruiting trail with some big offers coming both of y'all's way. And then it leads up to, in June, commitments to Michigan, which, folks that watch the Louisiana vs. All Y'all channel and have heard me talk to Philly Wright, who has Michigan in the finalists, and me talk to Sam Spiegelman just about some of the recruiting updates throughout the month. Michigan hadn't recruited Louisiana at that level. They hadn't gotten a commitment in over 10 years until Amarion Walker in 2022. And now you guys commit in a span of like 8 or 9 days. Jasper, with you first, kind of talk me through the process of how Michigan became such a big player in your process and then, proved to be the place that felt like it was home at the next level.
So the way that Michigan drove themselves into, I would say, my top 3 was consistency. I meshed with the staff really well. We had a guy up there, Coach Bellamy, called me as much as he could, I believe. And the Coach Jerome Moore, when I went up there, he was really see-through, transparent. He talked to my family. He made sure that I was a priority, as well as Coach T.A., Coach Tony Elford. He kind of just showed me from a developmental standpoint where I'd be with the program in 1 year before I had even said anything about committing. So it just showed how serious he was about me. And it's Michigan's such a no-brainer if you just look at it as a university. All the qualities that it holds, all the things it can do for you outside of football, after football, the people you will meet, just the education and the culture up there is one of none. So I feel like Michigan, no matter what, was going to end up in its top 3. The staff just made it a whole lot better, as well as Coach Hank, knowing those guys up there, coaching them. That's really what did it for me.
Jacob, same sort of thing. When you look at the recruiting process and having some great options, how would you explain to people what was so special about Michigan and what ended up setting the Wolverines apart? And I'm sure Coach Bellamy, a really big part of that for you as well, a guy that, was at Shaw years ago, played for Coach Hank, and has done a really nice job of opening that door to recruit the alma mater.
Yeah, Coach Bellamy being at Michigan is huge for me just because, we both play receiver, we both play for the same head coach. And just knowing I have a guy in Ann Arbor who's going to look after me and knowing how I do things and being from New Orleans, being from the same area as me, it's huge. And then I just say I chose Michigan because I saw it was a great place where I can get developed, elite development on the football field, as well as just the academic piece. It was important for me, and I felt like the Michigan degree would open up a world of opportunities just after my football career. And then beyond being developed and on and off the field, just competing at the highest level in the Big Ten and competing for national championships each year, it's always been a dream of mine. So just to have that opportunity in front of me, it was hard to pass up.
How much did you guys talk about all of this leading up to it? Jasper had the first commitment announcement of the 2. Jacob, how much were you already aware that was the move for him? How much were y'all talking about it kind of leading up to that weekend when Jasper committed on that visit?
I'll go first. Actually, leading up to the visit, I kind of knew they were my top 3 and I had already been on a few OVs. So it was really them. It was really them and really like 2 other schools. So I was kind of like, and my Coach Bell had already talked to my parents and Coach TA, Coach Moore. So they were more sure than I was. We just had a long talk about it. So I told Jacob that going into the visit, I was like, this might be the spot. But as far as me knowing if Jacob was sure about coming to Michigan, no, he wasn't. I mean, he told me a few places on his plate, but Michigan was one of them. I think I guessed wrong because what he said, he kind of surprised me. And when I saw that he had committed FaceTime and he just had a long grin, almost like the Grinch, and like he had stolen Christmas. because he had held it from me so long. So he definitely knew about me, but I thought I knew his process would be a little bit different than mine, and because receiver's so tricky. But yeah, I knew he'd be at Michigan some way.
You thought he was going to potentially end up at Missouri or Miami or one of those?
Yeah, one of them.
Jacob, talk me through, I mean, your perspective on all that, knowing that that Jasper was probably starting to lean that direction when he announced, and then you having a chance to, even though you were the second one to announce, to be the one that surprised him a little bit more.
Well, going into my Michigan official visit, it was definitely in my top 3. So just knowing that, it wasn't I'd say top 4. It was in my top 4, being like 1 or 2. And then just knowing that, and, after, because it was my last visit. So I was like, after Michigan, everything was there for me. So I sat down with my parents and the coaches and weighed out the pros and cons, and Michigan was just the best choice for me. And I mean, going into Jasper's visit, I'd say I was surprised that he, made the announcement, but I wasn't surprised. Like, it was, I could see him at Michigan, so it was sort of a, okay, well, I can see that,
For you guys to go to a place that hasn't had as much of a track record of Louisiana guys going there, and it's also, one of the places it's fairly far away, different geographically in terms of being in cold weather and all that stuff. When you start to weigh, okay, I'm going someplace that is, off the beaten path a little bit from the standpoint of what we usually see in Louisiana recruiting in the off season, how much was it important for Coach Bellamy and those guys to answer some questions and make you feel more comfortable kind of branching out a little bit like that? And how much of it felt like, this is kind of cool that we're going to do something different than what some other guys are doing?
You want to go first, Jake? All right, I can go. It doesn't matter.
You can go.
All right. Yeah. Yeah, most definitely. I mean, I would say that I was never really scared to leave home. Because I mean, you got to leave home eventually if you want to forest in this occupation, anyways. Or if you just want to meet new people in life and do things. But yeah, it took some convincing for sure. I mean, just from being as far as Michigan, I would say, and knowing that I had other options that I could stay very, very close to home. So yeah, it took some convincing, because when you finally get to the point and you like, all right, I'm not scared to stay home. In fact, I want to leave home, but then home hits you, and you just think about everything you can do at home and all the things that home holds. You kind of have to be manipulated in a way to step out and branch out. But I feel like you grow more when you're uncomfortable. So that was definitely something my dad was telling me my entire life. You gotta flourish where you're planted. So that definitely wasn't a deciding factor for me, I would say.
Did you have more to add, Jacob, or he pretty much hit it?
Well, I'd just say that, same thing as he said, just since a young age, I've always wanted to leave the city and leave the state and just venture out and see new things and experience new things. And a little bit about the weather and the cold up there. It's just about adapting to situations and just making the best out of the situation. And I mean, just, pushing through and getting through it.
So for fans up there, by now, I would think they've put on the highlights a little bit and seen a little bit of what y'all bring to the football field. I guess, what would y'all tell Michigan fans about one another of what to expect of guys that are coming up to their program? Jacob, what would you tell Michigan fans who are waiting to see, all right, this Jasper Parker guy that we watch, be a big physical back that has some speed to break a long run? What do they not know about Jasper or not see on film that you think they need to know about the young man who's coming to join that program?
I'd say just the work ethic and, the determination behind the game and just everything, like just the small things, watching film, working out, training, just doing all those little things right. And then that's big, just in like the little things make up the big things. So just knowing that he's a guy that pays attention to detail and and does the little things right, it's big.
And same sort of thing, Jasper. There's Michigan fans up there watching this tall, long, wide catch radius, athletic receiver with some ability to make some highlight reel catches in the back of the end zone. Also has that 4.4 speed. What do they not know about Jacob Washington and the guy that they're getting up there as a part of this program?
I was actually asked this question about EJ Howland, insider up there, but like I told him, he's definitely still getting to his peak. He's nowhere near his peak. I would say that arriving there, I feel like is where he's going to like be able to just show you what he's got the most, because like he said, he hasn't really been playing at this high of a level for that long. So it's really scary once you really see how he's coming along. We've been everywhere together, so I just seen his improvements year by year by year. And also, I mean, he's speedy. The speed sneaks up on you. His routes are very crispy. He's a very understanding player. He's super coachable. I've never seen him react in a bad way to any play, not one time the entire time we've been playing together. So, I mean, that just says a lot, just coming from a guy like me who also tries to do the same thing. You can recognize how much he cares for the game. So I would just say that he takes everything seriously as far as his work ethic.
Let's get into senior year a little bit. Less than a month away from when you guys are going to go back into full camp mode, start senior year in terms of the actual school piece of it and whatnot, and start building toward the kickoff of this final high school season. Jacob, you mentioned it earlier. You think that everything that y'all saw and accomplished this past fall was just kind of the beginning, the step toward even bigger things this fall, both as young players and as that program. What are we expecting to see from these Shaw Eagles on Friday nights throughout this upcoming fall?
I mean, we're going to compete at the highest level, and every Friday night, just give it our all, and just put our best foot forward to win the game. I mean, it's really that simple. Just we're going to give it all we got.
Yeah.
Oh, go ahead. Go ahead, Jasper.
I would say the same for him, but just knowing that we have some new leaders. I feel like we got a new DC, so some things are just going to be different from a discipline aspect. So I feel like everybody's going to know their role, and we're going to do great things.
When I came to see you guys for the Jamboree last season, the amount of fans, alumni, everybody that were out there to celebrate essentially, a preseason half of a matchup, it was pretty impressive to see just the energy coming back to that program and the excitement over there. You guys grew up on the West Bank, kind of know a little bit about the Shaw background and history of their previous runs of success. How would you describe to people what the vibe was like to be in the middle of that this past year and to see folks start coming back that much more and to see that y'all were a part of kind of helping to rejuvenate things on the West Bank?
Well, I'll start off and just by saying, my dad actually went to Shaw. He graduated from Shaw, so I'm very familiar with the rich Shaw history, and just that side of things. So just knowing that we have a strong fan base and people that are dedicated to seeing us succeed is huge, and just being it's getting us prepared for the next level, as well as just makes you feel like it's more than just yourself.
Yeah, I would say the completely same thing. I mean, you always see a random Shaw alumni. Like one time we were bowling, and this is like I'm beat up, bad ankle, and he just walks up to me and he like, y'all pretty, like he's staring me in my face, he's like, y'all pretty good, huh? Y'all gonna go all the way? And like I was like, what you talking about? And he was like, nah, it's Shaw. I went to Shaw. He graduated Shaw, and then we just like went into a whole conversation. So it's definitely a beautiful thing on the West Bank to see how many people care and actually went to Shaw. It'd be so unexpected. So it's definitely make you go harder knowing there's a lot of people that supporting and tuning in and that you're doing it for.
Jacob, when you mentioned your dad playing at Shaw years back, how cool, how special is it for you to have that opportunity to play for a guy like Hank Tierney and kind of carry on that legacy over there?
Well, Coach Hank's been around a long time, and he's a legendary coach around the country. So just having that opportunity to play for him is huge for me. Just knowing that my dad played under him and just so many of the greats he's coached, it's just unbelievable how just the opportunity that's there and how many things you can learn from him.
What do y'all take from last year's run? The first semifinal run for that program in almost 2 decades, and learn from that and help kind of spark y'all as a team to take that next level, take that next step, finish the job, and go win the first state championship since I think before I was even talking and walking around and stuff.
I would definitely say most of the game is mental. We always know our skill is undoubtedly there as a team. And the only way we can do it is through getting down the mental aspects of the game. There was a lot of time in games where we broke down mentally. I wouldn't say me per se, but I definitely I have to step up more as being that leader and keeping my team in it throughout the whole way. Most definitely, I feel like we have the talent. We got the guys. It's just the mental aspect, and our coach is going to do it for us.
Yeah, Jacob, do you have any more to add to that of just, what lessons could be learned from last year, what that experience of a deep playoff run and everything that went into that can mean to help fuel those next steps for y'all and complete the mission that I know y'all have?
Well, I just say that, being in the semifinals, it made us all realize that it's possible, that going to the state championship is possible. And just now that we're seniors and we have a lot of senior leadership on the team, it's just what we've been preaching all off season, what we've been working towards, and what we want at the end of the day to win that state championship.
And before I let y'all go enjoy y'all's Friday, I mentioned Philip Wright from Destrehan is announcing his commitment on Saturday. Michigan's in the final 3 for him with Georgia and LSU. When I talked to him earlier this week, he said you guys are in his ear a little bit and trying to say that he needs to join up and be coming to Michigan as well. What is y'all's pitch to him to say, hey, come be a part of this, and what y'all are trying to leave him with heading into Saturday when he makes his announcement?
You want to go?
You go. Up to you.
Well, I'd say just knowing that there's 2 guys from Louisiana already committed, so he'd make the 3rd. So just knowing that we can bring that connection up to Michigan, that's huge. Just knowing that you have 2 people around you that's going to help you and just make sure you're doing the right things and just ready to work.
I would say that I definitely agree with him. We already got 2 guys, and me and Jacob was talking about it. It's like, man, we're not going to make no new friends. I mean, me and him going up there, I'm sure we'll share a room. So if Philly came in and be us 3, I would say he's definitely a priority. I mean, Coach Bellamy, he talked to me about Jacob and Philly throughout my whole unofficial. So it's definitely big getting those guys. So I would just say that he's definitely a priority. And the weekend when I committed, he kind of had a smile, and I just know he'd fit in Michigan very well. So we definitely need to get Philly here.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, y'all already reopened that pipeline. It should be easy for him now to feel comfortable following suit.
Yeah, for sure.
But hey, even if Philly weren't coming, I don't think you guys are going to have trouble making some friends up there. I promise you, y'all are going to be all right. But Jasper, Jacob, I appreciate y'all's time. I actually kept y'all a little bit longer than I anticipated, but I appreciate y'all's time and thought it was great to catch up a little bit and talk about the college piece as well as some of the things y'all are doing over there at Shaw.
Oh, thank you so much. I appreciate it. The pleasure was mine.
Good deal. Well, yeah, Jasper Parker, the standout running back, Jacob Washington, the standout wide receiver from Archbishop Shaw, and committed to that Michigan 2025 class. Looking forward to seeing what these guys do this fall on the West Bank and, potentially pushing it on to the East Bank with a game in the Dome in December, hopefully. And for Louisiana versus all y'all, Jarrett Roser.